Yeah, when I first came here, I say I was more insular because being from New York, you have a pride about you and you think the New York way is the way. But you meet so many different people from different walks of life, and even traveling all over Asia, which I basically did, been in Thailand, Singapore, and everywhere in between. You realize that there's more than one outlook on life. I've become more open to listening to other people's walks and opinions and try to integrate that with my own ideas and my axioms, things of that nature. CFAS の皆さん、こんにちは。Jones Tommy と申します。よろしくお願いいたします。I'm MLC Jones, and I'm a security guard here working at CFAS. MLC is basically a master labor contractor. It's not the most exciting job, but it's an important one. So we are like the innate first line defense. The people that come into the installation, we check their IDs and make sure they have approved access onto the installation. I work here. They have different bases in my bata. We may work at housing units, things of that nature. So we have a lot of bases here in Sasebo. When I decided to leave the military, I wanted to stay in New York. I was there for about 4 or 5 months. I didn't realize how much I changed and how much Sasebo in particular grew on me. I felt like I need to go back to Sasebo. So my family was shocked, but they were like, okay, you get it, When I first came back here, I thought that I would be able to work on base because I'm a veteran and I would have veteran preference and it would be a smooth process. But when I came back here, I couldn't find a job for months. And I was like, wow, I'm kind of stuck here. I don't want to go back and be like, well, I tried to live in Japan, but I failed. I don't want to go back a failure. So that's when I started to study Japanese because to work out in town, you know how to speak some Japanese. When I did that, I was able to get opportunities to work in different places. It wasn't a chore for me to study Japanese because I really wanted to learn and I was really devoted to that. And even when I had friends that would ask me to go out, to go drink, and I'd be like, nah, I think I'm gonna study. Like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, I need to study. So I need to learn this language if I want to be successful here in Japan. One day I saw an ad for a job for a security guard. Like, interesting. This particular job, I needed to be able to speak English, which I think I could do a little bit. I needed to speak Japanese at a high school level, and I thought I can do that. I was able to show that I was proficient enough in Japanese to communicate with the other guards here and follow directions and be able to communicate what needs to be done within the job. Learning Japanese actually shows the Japanese people that I talk to that I actually respect their culture and I'm willing to learn such a difficult language, a language that's so much different from English, grammatically speaking. One of the things I like about being in Japan is the culture exchange where, like I'll give an example for here and working at CFAS where my Japanese co-workers, they would ask me questions about America and is this true, is this not true? And even though I've been living here for a while, I still have some questions that I'm not really too sure about culture and how to communicate in certain Japanese environments. So I'll ask them questions like that. And that's what I like about it, just being different and being able to share our differences and compare and contrast and really get to the bottom of that. And when I came here, you're just surrounded by so many people that really want to improve themselves and be the best versions of themselves that they can possibly be each and every day. And that really resonated with me. So maturity is a funny thing. Like, I didn't know how much I matured being here, being in just one situation. We want to grow, we want to mature, we want to just expand our horizons and how we think about life. And then you go back home and you go back to your friends or where you grew up at and people are still the same and they think the same way. And you realize, wow, like I used to think like that and it makes you feel like I don't belong here, So that's why I decided to come. I mean, it didn't have to be Sasebo specifically, but I felt like I did my growing up here. I discovered bodybuilding here. I discovered just hard work ethic here. So it's just a lot of things that ties into that. When I do go back home for vacation, within 2 weeks, I started missing Japan. I feel like, I think it's time for me to go back home. So I do feel like Sasebo is home for me.